Good evening, welcome back to another video with a guy and his projects. Today we are working on a 2012 Ford Escape with the V6 engine, and we are doing tie rods. So we're also doing a TPMS sensor that broke off in the rear tire. We're gonna pull that out, but might not even video that. That's just a matter of popping the tire bead and pulling out the sensor. So the main focus of this video is inner and outer tie rods. So this guy came in, asked me to go over this car. There is a lot wrong with it. And the list that I gave him, we opted into doing the tie rods and the tire situation. So that's what we're doing. So I just did the passenger side. We agreed when I talked to him to do the outer tie rods because that's what's bad. The inside tie rods, my tag's sticking up. The inner tie rods are actually in really good condition, except for the fact that the passenger side was very seized, and I could not separate them. By the time I was able to get them separated, well, we needed new inner tie rods. So I went ahead and put an inner tie rod on that side. I'm just going to assume I'm doing that on this side. As far as charging the guy, I will probably just charge him parts on that, not labor. It's only another 5 minutes of work anyway. By the time we get those separated and pulled out. So, inner and outer tie rods, 2012 Ford Escape, probably applies for multiple years, but that's what I know. I have the new parts here, and I think our channel's to the point now where I don't advertise what brand for free. You can probably tell what that one is. Either way, I will link some down below that I would recommend purchasing. May or may not be what we're using here. Click on the links down below for parts and tools. We're going to use a tie rod removal tool as well. So yeah, check out the Amazon links, buy stuff, click on my links, buy stuff. I make money, you get stuff, and I keep posting, so keep it up, keep doing it. You guys are doing great. So we have our outer tie rod, our inner tie rod. I had to cut the other one off. We have our tie rod tool that we're going to be using, safety glasses from when the time comes, and then just some random other tools that I ended up pulling out on the other side. So one thing that you will probably want is a long flathead screwdriver or a chisel and a hammer to break the factory metal tie. The rest of this stuff was just stuff that I came up with wanting. So anywho, we're going to go ahead and pick this car up and get the tire off. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, but I want to roll the tire and you can hear this TPMS sensor, I'm assuming TPMS sensor that broke off, rolling around in there. Watch this. Can you hear that? It's kind of funny. So we're going to bust the bead on that and pull that out in a little bit. But for the purpose of this video, tie rods. Also worthy of notation, anytime you do tie rods, you will want to get a professional alignment done after. He needs an alignment already. Insides of his tires are toasted, gone. And they look like they're pretty new too. So he needs alignment already, but just be aware, do tie rods, do alignment. In that order too. Tires off. So we are looking for this guy right here. That's the tie rod. This is the outer tie rod. This part, starting with the nut, is the inner tie rod. Nut. The part the nut is on and that outer tie rod threads into, this is your inner tie rod. So this is going to be a pain in the absolute tushy-wushy to get to, so hopefully we don't have to replace that one, because it is good. It was just seized to this guy on the other side, so I couldn't get it off. So because of that, we're actually going to start with that in this one. See if we can't get that sucker off. Okay, so we have this is seized. I already tried air hammering. I don't know if I got that on camera. I think I forget to hit record. Tried to air hammer this off with a nut remover. Not happening. This guy is not coming off just like the passenger side. So we're going to go ahead and slice this tie rod off. What that's going to allow us to do is pull this boot off and get the inner tie rod out. You could get the tie rod off without taking the boot or without doing that, but ultimately you're going to have to get the boot off at some point and it's going to have to come this way. Therefore, we're going to slice that. I'm going to put the camera away because it doesn't do good with sparks. As in, I don't want to replace any more lenses. Once we get it, Once we get it mostly close, I'm going to try and just break it. That way we don't run into a problem with the blade catching as the two pieces go whoop. Oh, it's that bad. Oops. There we go. Okay, so now we have two separate pieces with which to work. All right, so now to get the tie rod out, I'm gonna take my 18 mil and I'm just gonna stick it on here. And we're gonna just rip this guy out. There it is. That's gonna be stuck now, so let's put it back on a couple threads. So we can rip our socket off. Okay, from here, oh, you guys are in the wrong format, I'm sorry. Okay, from here, you can either shock load it like this, if you did this before pulling your tie rod off, which I didn't. So I'm just gonna kind of try and shock load it a little bit. Oh, look at that, just came right out. I expected more force. So our inner tie rod, we gotta remove the boot. So this clamp's gonna come off, like it or not. Okay, that's off. Put it somewhere you're not gonna lose it. All right, so now way back here where you guys probably can't see, there's a little clamp. I'm gonna use a chisel and a hammer, and I'm gonna stick it in that clamp and I'm gonna pop it with the hammer and try not to get my fingers. Just like so. And then we should pull this guy off here. Oh, yes sir. So there's that. And then the clamp we're talking about is right here. So all I did is where this meets, I just stuck the chisel in there and hit it, and that just broke it free. All right, now the tie rod from the factory is a smooth ball, which creates problems. Let me show you what a new one looks like. So your new one, if you'll see, you got these little slits. That allows you to get a tool on there and actually break this free. A tool just like that. We're going to use this for installing today because it's not going to work on the one that's factory installed, because the whole thing is this beautiful round crap. Ain't no flat spots. This can create big problems for getting it out. So on the passenger side, you can get right through here where the differential is, a little baby pipe wrench, and that worked. However, you're going to need a tool, which I'm gonna have in about 5 minutes because I called a buddy who happened to be at the store and he's bringing me one. All right, my good buddy Chase just came through for me. It was awesome. And he got one of these tools. I will link this down below, some variation of the brand. So I think the way this works, you're gonna slide it on someplace. All right, so for this, it seems to be like a 9/16 wrench to get these nuts down. We're gonna tighten these. Probably can't see, and apologize, but not much I can do on that, guys, you know. Where's my gloves? I'm gonna get my fingers all gross. I wanna take my 9/16 wrench, move that just a little bit. We can get these in nice and snug. Now we're gonna stick our extension in here. I'll put my ratchet on the back of the extension. It's just back here where I can reach. And we should, in theory, oh yes, just like that. All right, this tool is amazing today. Now we're gonna loosen this guy up. Never needed one of these before, but today is the day. This is why you guys should watch YouTube before starting a job, because I did not watch YouTube before I started this job. But I am creating a YouTube video, if that makes a difference. Oh, there we go. Buy it. I'll link it down below, and I make commission when you buy stuff I link, so, you know. Oh, it's all greasy. Like I said, these were not bad. They were just seized too much to get that nut off, and by the time you can get the nut off, you've destroyed it anyway. Alright, so in with the new. This is going to go on much similarly. You're just going to screw it on, and we're going to use a different tool for putting this guy on. You could put this on with the same tool we just took it off with, but I'm going to use my other tool Alright, so that's about there. So this tool, we're gonna slide our piece on here. I'm always trying to work so you guys can see. Never works. You just want it back there somewhere. We're gonna open up the slits on this guy. Oh, come on now. Oh, and simultaneously you're gonna find, I hate this tool, by the way. I've never figured out how to use it in such a way to make my life easy. And then we're gonna try and lock that guy in place. Nope. We missed it right there. So if you can lock it in place first, then you just got to figure out where the thing goes. On the tie rod. It should just drop into place right there. And we're going to try and not twist it. We're going to tighten it. Oh, right about there. Okay. Tighten. Pull it all out and you're done. Alright, tie rod is now installed. So now we're going to take our boot. I'm going to slide our boot on. And you want it to latch over the positive retention in the back. I want to grab a zip tie. I'm going to pre-feed it because you can't reach back there. And we're going to get that back there on the last ridge. Don't use a cheapy ass Harbor Freight zip tie. Get yourself a cold weather, hot weather, whatever you got to do, rated zip tie. Because you don't want it to break, because that's just not a good time. And it's not horrible, you just got to redo it, you know. So make sure it gets on the boot. Sometimes you can't see and you're working by feel. If you mess up, you can do it again. But you're gonna want that thing tight. As tight as you can get it without it breaking. Alright, and I can't actually get my fingers in there, get it tight enough, so let's see if I can get it from underneath. Alright, she is on there. We got a pair of side cutters, cut off the excess. So then the other side of the boot is gonna come and sit in this ridge. It'll sit nice and comfortably. Grab your channel locks, you're gonna slide this clamp on. And get it in place. Right there. Alright, boot is installed. Alright, so your inner tie rod is now installed. Now we can do your outer. Your outer, if you were able to get the tie rod off, you need to count your turns as you come off. I couldn't do that, so we're going to do the old tape measure trick to get this alignment as close as we can to something where it belongs. Grab our new tie rod. I'm going to spin this guy on. And if you're counting turns, say that's how many turns you wanted, you just stop there and then you take your jam nut and you tighten it up. I'm going to do some measuring on threads to see where the other one is in comparison to this one before I tighten it up. So I'm going to measure from the tie rod end on the old one to the base of the threads, which, oh, it's so dark I can't see. So if I don't put the metal clasp there, just the tape right on, we're at 1.25 inches to the threads. The back end of the threads. This is not accurate, guys. This is just me getting it as close as I can. So 1.25 inches is going to be, oh, I'm actually already there. That is 1.25 inches dead nuts. So I'm going to hold the nut there. And now we make the determination of going one more or one less. I'm gonna go one more. Something like so. And then I'm gonna have to move the rack back. I spun it out this way earlier. Hold on. Unfortunately, I think we just missed the nut. It wasn't recording. Again, I'm getting bad about that today. Alright, so grease arc. I'm just gonna make sure that's still clean. You didn't get no dirt in there. Put that sucker on. Mine is a 7 mil. Like so. Don't forget to grease that if you so desire. Now we're going to pop this back in a little bit tighter, which mine, the old one was a 21. The new one is a 22. So the old one was a 21 millimeter nut. The new one is a 22 millimeter nut. So we're gonna get in here and we're gonna get that kind of cranked down. You're gonna crank that down. Now, here's the exception. If you are using, excuse me, if you're gonna do a tape measure alignment, which we are, you're gonna leave that loose so you can adjust the tie rods. For now, I'm gonna tighten that for video purposes. Greaser, throw a tire on, you're good. All right, grab your torque stick, your torque wrench, whatever you want to use. Get at her. All right, guys, that's all there is to it. Replacing inner and outer tie rods on a 2012 Ford Escape. Pretty easy. I will link the tools down below. Click them, buy them. I make money. I keep posting. Everything is great in the world. Plus, you get parts and tools, which is great. Guys, remember, I'm not certified to do any of this. I'm not any kind of official to train you. I just do things in my garage to make things work, and that's what I post for you guys to watch and do if you like. So keep watching, thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Adios.